Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a slight problem here of when you try to move this thing, at some point it just doesn't work. So I think the problem should be here, definitely. So this if statement doesn't seem to be working all the time. And so sometimes it goes to this point instead of staying here. So we have to double check our if statement and see any anomalies that we could find. So let me observe this. So all these are x's here, which is great. So this is fine over here. And this width x, that's fine. Let's go over here. Let's see y, that's fine. Y, oh, there we go. So we're getting the x here instead of the y. So let's change that to a y, and that should solve our problem. So let's get back to business and let me refresh my page. Let's see what's going to happen. Alright, so let me try again, and it seems to be working just fine, fantastically actually. This is awesomeness. Okay, so if I click elsewhere, let me try a smaller square, and it works perfectly. Alright, so this is cool. Oh, except there, something happened there. There we go. That was weird. Let's see, if I do this, what's happening here? Ah, right. Okay, so there's an issue when I start going backward this way. Like this, it works. Then when I do this and start going this way, it snaps. But why? So it moves everything over, which is not cool, because we need to be able to go backward if we need to. Okay, that isn't cool at all. Okay, so I think the reason is once I go this way, let's see here. So I need to know if it's skipping between these 2 points when I go to the negative. So what I'm going to do is, for now, let me just put false over here. Or just to make sure that this never actually materializes. So I'm going to do false and something like that, so that it never goes to move mode. So let's go here, let me load that, and let's try this. Okay, so if it never goes to the move section there, then things never break down. It works just fine as intended. Okay, so the problem comes in when I'm reversing, I end up hovering on top of this thing, and then it breaks the system. Or maybe not. Look at that. This still breaks the system somehow. There's a ghost position there that's showing up. I don't actually know why. Look at that. What's going on here? Okay, so there's this phenomena that's going on here which we need to address, I guess. So let me check one thing though. When I do this, the width remains the same, so it's the XY positions that end up not being correct. So what I'm gonna do is check out the wait a minute, mouse down X. Wait a minute. Yeah, mouse down X. How does this change actually? Okay, so let's do a console.log. So every time you have an issue, just try to console.log that issue. Try to echo a few things, or try to display a few values and see what is contained in them. So I'm gonna reload. There we go. So if I click on this, you see there it remains at 46. Okay, so that's great. But let me try something else. It doesn't change. Oh, wait. What's happening there? It's not changing at all. Okay, so the value of the X does not change even when it creates this ghost position here. Okay, so that's not the problem. So why am I getting a ghost rectangle there? Alright, so what I'm gonna try is let me put a return key here, because I'm suspecting that it's still coming down to this point when it's supposed to be going this way. So let's do a refresh. Let me load this again. And let me do this. Okay. So now the double thing disappears when I do this. When I move back, it doesn't show, which means it actually goes to that point where it does a return instead. Okay, so that's where the problem is. Alright, so what we're going to do is, just like we did here with draw mode. Let me remove this. What we're going to do is set the draw mode here. Okay. So if for some reason it goes in here, if it starts with this, the draw mode is changed to true. Okay. Okay, so if not draw mode, the thing here is, let me go this way and let's do draw mode is equal to true. So the way I want this to work is that once it goes through one of these, it should stay there until I release the mouse key. The same here as well. So once draw mode is equal to false, it should stay like that. And once it's equal to true, it should stay like that. So what I'm going to do is this. Let's give it 3 states instead. So here draw mode should be equal to null when we release the mouse button. Okay? So the same thing as here, we set it to null. That way we have 3 states: null, false, and true. So here, if it goes to true, that's true. If it goes here, that's false. Okay? So now at this point, we can say if, let's see, if not draw mode, or if draw mode is equal to, yeah, if it's equal to false, it goes in here. That's good. But if it's equal to true, it goes in here. But then if it goes here, it might actually switch this. Okay, so this is not going to work either. I want a one-way street here. So let's think of a way to create this one-way street. Okay, so what I'm going to try is this. I will duplicate this if statement here, and then I'm going to remove this. I'm going to say if draw mode is equal to null, like that. Okay, and then we put the AND statement here. If draw mode is equal to null and this is true, if that happens, then we set draw mode to false. Okay, let's put that here. So in this case, we're not drawing. We set it to false, which means we're not drawing, we want to move an item. And once it's set, there's no way to reset it back to a null, because here we set it to false. Alright, and since it's now false, this will always be false because it will never be null, and it's required for it to check this. So then it permanently set to false. The only time it becomes a null is on the mouse up event when we set it that way. And so once we have that, then all we need to do here is check if not draw mode, then we go here, else we go to this side where draw mode is equal to true or something. So we set draw mode to true when we go here, even though there's really no need for this. So instead of using null, we could have still used true or false, because we end up just using two states anyway. So draw mode will be true, and then if it is true, let's set it here to false, and that's it. Okay, so that can work as well. So let me remove this. Let me go back here and set it to true, because we end up using only two states. So at the end of the day, we can set it that way. So if draw mode is equal to true here, so draw mode is true, and this happens, then it means we set it to false. And once we set it to false, we can only set it back to true when we release the mouse button. And then here all we need to know is if draw mode is false, then we can move in this direction. Okay, so the reason this should work is because once we set this mode, we can't set it, we'll always end up here. Once this is set, we'll always end up here regardless what we're doing, and then if it's not set, we'll end up here instead. So let's see if this is gonna work at all. That way we don't alternate between the two. I don't know if this will solve the problem, but it doesn't seem to solve the problem, because once it goes missing, it works in that the state doesn't change until I release, but the problem is it's still there when I do this. When I try to move back, it makes the thing disappear anyway, like that. Okay, but otherwise it works just fine. Once I start moving it like this, it works until I click, but dragging back gives us problems like that. So that's not what I want to see here. It moves to the drag mode too early. Okay, so